As a young citizen of India, armed with technology, knowledge, and love for my nation, with a vision of transforming India into a developed nation, I'm joining Shobhit University. What about you?
Very good morning to all the participants from India and abroad uh, joining today for this very important international webinar series on open source digital technologies for self-reliant India, Atmanirbhar Bharat, and a very important topic, unleashing the potential of digital agriculture, empowering small and marginal farmers through system of systems framework. Today is 114th edition and 1st June 2024. This weekly webinar normally is being conducted from 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. Indian Standard Time. On behalf of the Honorable Chancellor, His Excellency the Secretary General, African Asian Rural Development Organization, Honorable Vice Chancellor, the faculty members of the university, and on my behalf, as Professor Emeritus and Chairman of Centers of Excellence, Center for Agricultural Informatics and E-Governance Research Studies, Center for Agri-Business and Disaster Management Studies, and Center for Informatics Development Solutions and Applications, and Center for Industry 4.0 Technology Studies and Applications, CITSA, and Center for Health Informatics and Computing. Let me welcome our guest speakers of the today webinar. Good morning, Mr. Kushuru, F. Doctor, Founder, CEO, TaashaTech Infosolutions Private Limited, Gujarat, and his colleague, Mr. Rahul Lakhanpal, Vice President Engineering, TaashaTech Infosolutions Private Limited. I wish to inform the participants and the speakers that the university regularly conducts two webinar series, namely National Webinar Series on Doubling Farmers' Income by 2022, Atmanirbhar Bharat in Agriculture, on every Thursday, and international webinar series on open source digital technologies towards self-reliant India on every Saturday. So far, we have conducted from these two centers of excellence, that is Center for Informatics Development Solutions and Application. This is to promote e-governance with the standards approach, and Center for Industry 4.0 Technology Studies and Application. It is for promoting Industry 4.0 technologies to SMEs, 63 million SMEs of this country. And so far we conducted about 113 lectures on various important topics which can facilitate the tech startups to get into agricultural tech startups in a very big manner. Open technologies to provision simple and economical IT infrastructure. We started with this topic on 12th September 2020. A roadmap for students using free and open source software, reaching the goals of Atmanirbhar Bharat. And free and open source software adoption and business models. Open source software in industrial IoTs for SMEs. Role of artificial intelligence in healthcare. Current developments in diagnosis and vaccine research. Era of automation, industrial robotics, and Industry 4.0 Indo-German perspective of technology transfer, skill gap analysis, and opportunities, and leveraging emerging technologies for ensuring transparent and traceable agri and food supply chain, data governance for self-reliant India, edge artificial intelligence, technology imperatives make in India for self-reliance, open data platform for smart digital government, health informatics network value chain, early childhood development and learning, cyber security risk challenges and solutions, intelligence approach to reduce cyber risk, Indian startups, reflections and possible policy intervention needed for scaling up to Gram Panchayat, blockchain and crypto for digital assets platform, pathways for global trade, robot as a service, leverage technology to solve enterprise challenges. Pharma 4.0, Industry 4.0 applications to pharmaceutical manufacturing path to a digital transformation. Project management essentials, launchpad for future CEOs and startup founders beyond. Society 5.0, a new society beyond Industry 4.0 and post COVID-19. Digital economy, ways and means to protect and empower for self-reliance. Online learning during the pandemic and its future. Small microeconomic zone, pathway for self-reliance at village level. Digital agriculture supply chain and trading hub, a geo-economic perspective. Market-driven agriculture, need for development of crop-specific strategies at block level. A open agri-network to unlock the $1 trillion plus potential of Indian agriculture with smallholder farmers. Developing rural entrepreneurship to ensure doubling of farmers' income. Agronomy and artificial intelligence is equal to precision farming. Agronomy plus artificial intelligence is equal to precision farming. It means that all soil scientists have to be trained on artificial intelligence to effectively bring in precision farming. Developing commercial breadfruit value chain to help farmers reach high value markets. Commodity value chain creation through agri network and agri artificial intelligence. Health informatics network value chain, National Animal Disease Reporting System 2012 and beyond. Making urbanization work for the poor through new technologies. Disruptive technologies in precision farming. Digital economy, ways and means to protect and empower for self-reliance. Sustainability framework and standards for agriculture commodities, global experience. Transformation through technology. T3, pathway for industries to embrace digital, operational and knowledge transformation. Digital transformation, operational transformation and knowledge transformation for participating in global value chain. Health informatics network value chain, digital health analytics leading to digital twine for better health care, be it human health care, plant health care, animal health care, soil health care, and water health care, and fish health care. Golden era for Indian startups. Why? An overview. Creating shared value and being socially responsible. Connect One, a connecting platform for empowering farming communities. Kisan GPT to Bharat GPT, a AI-driven transformation of India led by Agricultural Information Service. Accelerating digital adoption and data-driven, a rural cloud initiative and an operational project from rural USA. Smart tribal farming, digitalized grassland husbandry to empower Gujar, Bakarwal nomadic tribes of Jammu Kashmir. Systemic model of entrepreneurship, connecting dreams, sustainable solutions and changing lives. Localization of sustainable development goals. And smart rainfed farming, pathway for prosperity, a rural renaissance model for the Donavar Fellowship, Tirunelveli district. Today is 114th edition of a very important webinar series. This talk will be by Shri Kushuru F. Doctor, founder and CEO, and Mr. Rahul Lakhanpal, Vice President Engineering of TaashaTech Infosolutions Private Limited, Ahmedabad. Is one of the very successful IT startup. They will be talking on a very important topic, unleashing the potential of digital agriculture, empowering small and marginal farmers through system of systems framework. India, the keywords are digital agriculture, small farmers, marginal farmers, system of systems, and framework. Agriculture itself is a system of systems. India is said to be a land of villages. It is the foundation of Indian economy. It contributes about 17 to 18% of its GDP. It is the main source of food, employment, and income for 70 to 80% of the people suffering from hunger in developing countries. Climate change has both direct and indirect effects on agriculture productivity, including changing rainfall patterns, severe drought, flooding, changes in the geographical redistribution of pests and diseases. We would like to track pests and diseases through GIS technology. And many national level programs, be it Digital India, Make in India, Skill India, Startup India, Stand Up India programs have faced operational difficulties for its impact at farm level and farmer level, and that too at small and marginal farmers. I'm very happy to inform that BharatNet connectivity will be there for every Gram Panchayat at the speed of 1 Gbps internet connectivity, to expandable up to 12 10 Gbps. The government of India has taken a lot of reforms towards digitalization of agriculture systems. It started with an IT blueprint for agriculture sector through a national conference by National Informatics Center, with which I was closely associated. I was the product of National Informatics Center. I joined as a system analyst and retired its Director General in 2013. It was Informatics for Sustainable Agriculture Development, ISDA, in May 1995, and District Information System, blueprint in 1988 for 512 districts then, and Smart Village Program 2002 to 2007 and 2007 to 2012, and launched the National E-Governance Program in Agriculture, NEGPA, in 2005, and 2016 Government of India set up a doubling farmers' income by 2022 under the chairmanship of Dr. Ashok Dalwai, a senior IAS officer, and which submitted its report on 2018 with a massive recommendation in 14 volumes. I chaired 2 volumes, volume 11 and volume 12B. Volume 11 talks about empowering the farmers through extension and knowledge dissemination. And volume 12B talks about digital technology in agriculture. It gives 7 mission mode programs for strategic use of digital technology in farming system life cycle, both in agriculture, animal husbandry, and fisheries. Digitalized agriculture, to start with, the transformational reforms in agriculture through synergization of all government schemes at the farm level and farmer level, through smart irrigated farming, smart rainfed farming, and smart tribal farming, and digitalized agromet advisories and agricultural risk management solutions, digitalized agricultural resources information system and micro level planning for achieving smart village and smart farming, digitalized value chain for about 400 agriculture commodities, digitalized access to input, technology, knowledge, skill, agriculture, finance, credit, marketing, and agribusiness management to farmers. This is to promote farming as a service, and digitalized integrated land and water management system, per drop more crop, and digitalized farm health management for reduction of farmers' loss to see farmer health, that's public health, plant health, animal health, soil health, water health, fish health, and environmental health over a GIS layer at the village level. And it is itself is $1 trillion data economy. We need a decision support system at the village level for this, through this 7 mission mode project, to facilitate 145 million operational holders, out of which 90% are small and marginal farmers having less than 2 hectares of land. They need what to grow, what not to grow, where not to grow, how not to grow, and when to grow, when not to grow, for whom we should grow from customer perspective. And for this, they need timely information. We have a lot of agricultural, infrastructures up to the village level, but they are not networked. Delivery of services are not in time. Many farmers don't know how many government schemes are available, and it is very important. And we need to go for agroecological and sustainable agriculture. Farmers who are focused on agroecology and sustainable agriculture will attract more consumer when they practice humane and healthy practices. Future of agriculture sector needs technological innovation through smart farming. That's why this committee talks about smart irrigated farming, smart rainfed farming, and smart tribal farming. India has 142,000 tribal villages. Tribal agriculture is sustainable agriculture, is not, it is a natural farming methods, and they need to be globally, value change. And smart irrigated system gives, it's covering about 30 to 33% of cultivable land, and the rest is 65%. It is all rainfed agriculture. And smart farming, different agriculture businesses adapt their own systems and integrate technology to make their process more streamlined and predictable. Some of the technological advancement that the smart farmer use include GPS tracking, drones, Internet of Things, and robotics. Maybe may not be in India. It is picking up in India in a very big manner. And with the vision of Make in India, the government involvement and government adhered innovations and investment is increasing. It is the modern agriculture implements and machine manufacturers that needed to bring innovations and new agro techniques to modernize our farmlands in India. We have 127 agroclimatic zones, 365 days of sunshine, and 400 agriculture commodities. They need to be digitalized. Agriculture, horticulture, floriculture, and apiculture, and the livestock and fisheries in a very effective manner. Agriculture 4.0 is the future of farming technology, and it is full of Internet of Things and automation of skills and workforce. Rural boys and girls have to be given, important skill and entrepreneurship development, and workforce too. And it is going to be data-driven farming. It is no more green revolution, means high-yield varieties and chemical fertilizer and irrigation. It is genomics, robotics, informatics, and nanotechnology. It's also called green revolution. Soil and field analysis through precise 3D mapping, planting, automated planting, crop spraying, crop monitoring, irrigation, and health assessment. Agriculture connected future, how technology can yield new growth, and challenges the industry is facing, this industry is facing, is manifold. Agriculture must embrace digital transformation enabled by connectivity. Digitization, increasing automation, and new business models have revolutionized other industries, and why not agriculture? India, the ecosystem is, we have to break, which we will be facing it, is agriculture 4.0, industry 4.0, which is leading to industry 5.0 and 6.0, and society 5.0. We have doubling farmers' income by 2022 recommendations, Digital India, Make in India, Skill India, Startup India, Stand Up India, and Connectivity Mission 2022. With that, every Gram Panchayat, which is 2.5 lakh Gram Panchayat, will be having one GPPS internet connectivity. Through that, every village will get heavy download and upload Wi-Fi connectivity through PM Wani technology. And it is very important that agricultural informatics as a discipline has to be used to train rural youths, and 4,500 engineering college students and 45,000 non-engineering college postgraduate students to make agriculture as a use case. It's very important. And even there are many schemes for agriculture, even for those who are involved in SMEs. So with instead of engineering technology, realizing the importance, after my retirement, they have invited me to be the Professor Emeritus and Chairman of 5 Center of Excellence to promote technology in the agriculture and rural area. That Center for Agricultural Informatics and E-Government Research Studies, Center for Agribusiness and Disaster Management Studies, and Center for Informatics Development Solutions and Application, and Center for Industry 4.0 Technology Solutions and Application. We have launched in collaboration with many NGOs, many value chain, fisheries informatics network value chain, health informatics network value chain, jackfruit informatics network value chain, spices informatics network value chain, coconut informatics network value chain, and so forth. And we are also would like to get to have partnership to broaden rural broadband access and create high value services. That agri-tech startups is very important. It needs to be scaled up to 2.5 lakh gram panchayat to facilitate a digital transformation of 145 million operational holdings in India. And we have to create an agri-tech startup ecosystems. As of now, about 10,000 agri-tech startups are functioning. That is more or less in towns and urban area. It has to go to panchayat level, because farmer is a consumer, farmer is a producer. He needs to be empowered by access to information, inputs, farm to fork linkages, and financing support, and so on and so forth. And Government of India also come out with many schemes, innovation and agri entrepreneurship development, Aspire program, and many more programs. And this has to be technologically enabled, technologically delivered to the farmers. And many recommendations of the national have been given by national webinars, establish startups and establish agri MSMEs, and how to involve Krishi Vigyan Kendras as mentor institution at the grassroots level for startups. And farm extension, which is now getting completely reformed to get farm extension 4.0. And today you have only technology transmission, but at the grassroots level, we need up to at least 12 categories of farm extension startups. It is very important, starting from agroclimatic advisory, financial and insurance inclusions, marketing, and farm planning, and so on and so forth. And smart and collaborative agriculture is the way of the future. And future of farming, for which relevance of agricultural informatics, research and development ecosystem is very important. The agriculture 4.0 has got 2 components. One is that digital R&I, research and innovation in agriculture, digital research and innovation in agriculture, and digital capacity and deployment in agriculture. So the framework which we are going to build is going to facilitate digital research and innovation. That R&D is split up into research and innovation first component, and development and deployment in another category. So digital research and innovation in agriculture and digital capacity, that is, and deployment in agriculture is in second category. And we conducted related webinars, digital agri-tech and industry perspective, AgStack, open source digital infrastructure for the agricultural ecosystem, a Linux Foundation project, ICT intervention in agriculture challenges and opportunities, open agri network to unlock the $1 trillion plus potential of Indian agriculture with smallholder farmer, accelerating digital adoption and data-driven rural cloud initiative, and transforming through technology. Government of India comes out with a lot of programs to equip agriculture with the emerging technology and ushering a new growth wave. We need to have a digital platform in agriculture to promote from artificial intelligence to agriculture intelligence, AI to AI. That's why our all engineering graduates and non-agriculture postgraduate students and agriculture graduates can become an agriculture entrepreneur through startup. And that's why this building a platform for operationalization of the 7 mission work program is very important. After having long deliberations, and we thought that it will be very difficult to operationalize all the components by the proponent like me, working in the university. We have got a nationwide shareholders, stakeholders, NGOs, high educational institutions, and now we have taken it for operationalization. One component, smart tribal farming throughout the country in a cluster of 10 to 15 tribal villages. And if this is successfully operationalized, this will be the torch bearer for all 142,000 tribal villages to become a part of New India by 2047. It is the vision of our Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi. And digital technology in agriculture, it means database technology, big data technology, decision support tools, and web technology, IoT technology, WOT technology, and and artificial intelligence, language computing, remote sensing, 3D printing, drone technology, blockchain technology, social media interface, cloud computing, and TV white space technology and mobile technology, so and so, between digital technology and the farmer producers. Indian digital ecosystem agriculture also is available idea, and we need to have a strong national database on farmers, for which I have prepared a note and submitted to Government of India on 16th August 2018 as the chief advisor to the Department of Agriculture and farmer welfare. And we also, Government of India also stumbled with AgriStack, and it is based on that digital system for agriculture, India enterprise architecture, and Mr. Kushuru and his team would have gone a thorough knowledge on this India digital enterprise agriculture. And AgriStack, it is a collection of technology-based interventions, verticals in the farming and agricultural sector that hold the potential to result in dramatic changes. Here, we would like to bring in strategic use of digital technology in the complete life cycle of the farm field, and livestock and fisheries. And I'm very happy that it is a synergization of various efforts which has to synergize at the farm level. And this is very important, and empowering farmers. It is very important. India will go from data poor country to data rich nation in maybe 5 to 10 years by 2030 through social media, commerce platform, social platform, payment platform, paperless platform, and digital identity. And agriculture itself has to have a smart farming methods through the system of systems. It is evolved over a period and started with the product, smart product, and smart connected product systems, and the system of systems. With Society 5.0 and Industry 5.0, this will facilitate to achieve Agriculture 4.0 or Agriculture 5.0. We must ensure that the Indian farmer benefits from all these technologies, development right up front. Research during Doubling Farmers' Income initiative of Government of India enumerates 7 mission work programs. We talked about it, with the definite enhancement and leaps towards realization of multiplication of farmers' income, proliferation of digital systems needs a robust framework to channel the initiatives. This session delves into system of systems based approach to channel the potential of digital technologies practices towards enhancing farm output and the farmers' income. Now let us turn to the address by Shri Kushuru, Doctor, Founder, CEO, and Rahul Lakhanpal, Vice President Engineering, TaashaTech Infosolutions Private Limited, on the topic Unleashing the Potential of Digital Agriculture, Empowering Small and Marginal Farmers through System of Systems Framework. This today's topic will motivate and galvanize the participants watching our telecast to facebook.com/Shobhit University India, youtube.com/Shobhit University in, or linkedin.com/company/Shobhit-University for establishing digital agriculture startup, facilitating agriculture and rural transformation India. Let us unlock the opportunities in rural India at the earliest. Let me introduce the guest speaker to the audience, Mr. Manish. Mr. Kushuru. Mr. Kushuru F. Doctor, Founder and CEO, TaashaTech Infosolutions Private Limited, Ahmedabad. He has got 30 plus years of IT experience. So much certifications, CSIA, PMP, CSM, Diploma in Innovation and Design Thinking, Emeritus, delivered multiple large-scale product development projects, worked on a large project for Government of India, Ministry of Rural Development. His area of expertise is technology development, process and security and IT audit. And Mr. Rahul Lakhanpal is the Vice President Engineering, TaashaTech Infosolutions Private Limited, Ahmedabad, having 20 plus years of IT experience, certified Scrum professionals, experience of delivering large enterprise products and operations, area of expertise, product engineering, software development process. And with this, I would like to invite both the speakers to the international webinar series to deliver their talk. Over to Mr. Kushuruji and Rahul Lakhanpalji.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you for this detailed introduction on the topic of digital and agriculture. If you notice, we are on a very, very important day in the history of India. We are on the last final phase of the voting of at the biggest democracy in the world. This the world over has been recognized as a festival of democracy. And based on a lot of understanding and lot of discussions that I have had with a lot of intellectual folks, a country that has to prosper from ground up. It cannot prosper from top down. So your marginalized farmers, if we can improve their status by even a small percent, then the country as a whole will benefit multifold. And that is where we are, between Rahul and I, we are excited to be a part of this seminar. We want to use our knowledge that we have gained of technology, running international projects, running large projects, to see how our experience can benefit to now improve the livelihood of the smallest of the small farmers. I usually have one take about technology, and I always say technology should be leveraged to solve a problem. I had a classical saying that says, IT is about you. IT is not about me. IT is not about my technology. IT is about how I can leverage technology for the benefit of problem solving, for the benefit of the people. I was lucky enough to do one project with NRLM, that is National rural livelihood mission, where we developed a workflow-based system for Ministry of Rural Development for the pet project of um, the Prime Minister, which said, why should entrepreneurs be located in cities and large towns? Why should entrepreneurship not flourish in a village? And for that, we had developed a complete workflow based system to help the lowest of the low people to become entrepreneurs, run their own businesses, and thrive in the village area. We also later on worked for a system called the aggregate marketplace, where the benefit of clubbing in a lot of people together to benefit and to leverage the cost arbitrage we developed for the similarly for NRLM. So using those as inputs, we thought that let us collaborate, let us contribute to this session. We are also going to do something very exciting, which we will talk about later, but we are also planning to enter through another company that we have, a fintech that we have. We want to leverage the data that is available, huge data, as Professor Moni rightly said. The data is not the problem. The ability of the IT to solve problems, to use that data to take decisions is where we have to intervene and we have to work. And that is what another idea that we have, which we are going to conceptualize over a period of time, and Rahul will talk a little bit more about that, is the use of artificial intelligence and machine learning for agri lending. Agri lending is a very, very kind of unconstrained area where data is not available, where people say data is not available and all that. Though we disagree, there is a lot of quality data that is available. So we want to use our knowledge of artificial intelligence, machine learning, club it up with the generic digital knowledge to create structures where lending for agriculture, the smallest of the small farmers, can happen easily. And that is where we interacted with Professor Moni about our ideas, and that is where he said he wanted our contribution in this area. So I will not take more time. Rahul has prepared an excellent presentation uh, about what we can do, how agriculture, how digital framework can be created for uh, helping the lowest of the low farmers. I have interacted with a lot of intellectual people who have worked extensively on creating frameworks for this. So we hope in the future to partner with a lot of other entrepreneurs and startups to create a kind of a broad-based architecture or a broad-based framework that can benefit the farmers. Over to you, Rahul. Thank you, Professor Moni, for giving us this opportunity. I am forever indebted to you for allowing us to work in this area. Thank you very much, sir. Rahul, all yours.
Thanks, Kushuru. Thanks for setting this up. And again, namaste everyone. And I would also, at the onset, thank Professor Moni for this opportunity, for his guidance. I think to every minute spent with Professor Moni is a learning experience. It brings significant delta in terms of scaling up. Someone who's understanding agriculture, who's worked on Industry 4.0 for a very long time, and bridging the gap between agriculture and the cool stuff which happens with AI, ML, IoT, and bringing everything together. So, with the kind of depth Professor Moni has been able to share of his experience, decades of experience, we hope that we would do justice and be able to showcase the knowledge we've gained from our experiences, from our expertise in building large software, and as the subject says, unleashing the power of digital agriculture. So with the onset, I do have a few slides which I would like to share. Manish, if you can share that, please.
I'm adjusting a light for me.
Yeah. So that's yeah, it's the time of the year where power is not that easy. So you're facing some. Thank you, Manish, for sharing this. Okay, so we'll quickly breeze through. Sir
Can
has.
you, can you go to the
Yes, sir.
can you go to the previous slide, first slide alone?
Yes, sir.
Oh, just one.
Shall I start, sir?
Okay, please.
Yeah. So unleashing the potential of digital agriculture, and we'll see why we talk about small and marginal farmers and bringing a system of systems framework to them. We'll see very soon the sheer size of the ecosystem that we are catering to. We've already gone through the introductions, and at the start, why we brought digital technology to agriculture and how strategic it is. Professor Moni kindly outlined all that Ashok Dalawai committee has recommended. There are 7 mission mode programs that they've outlined for bringing a digital revolution in agriculture. So digitalized agriculture, digital technology, bringing in all the initiatives of the government of India together, whether it is Digital India, Making It in India, Skilling India, and Kushuru also delved on the Startup India framework. We've done some work in that already with the Rural Renewal Ministry. And so to bring transformational reforms, it's not just a step-by-step approach or a one-by-one approach. It really has been transformational so far, and it will grow by leaps and bounds in the very, very near future. Digitalized agromet advisories, agricultural risk management. So agromet advisories, again, more forecasting oriented, more towards equipping the farmer to take informed decisions. Digitalized agricultural resources information system. So taking data from micro level and having a macro picture drawn according to how the data is progressing. Value chain. So there are 400 agricultural commodities for which we have separate value chains. We have separate operational chains. It has to be, the platforms have to cater to each and every one of them individually and as a collective as well. Digitalized access to inputs, technology, again, leveraging networks, leveraging entrepreneurship at micro level, bringing it together at macro level, and having a funnel from both sides, not just from the vast diversification at farm level, but also the diverse initiatives that the government of India is taking and bridging them like an hourglass. Digitalized integrated land and water management system. We've had a very distributed land management and water management in our country. Digital technologies bringing data in common parlance, in common as common availability, will bring these few edge cases together, bringing in more drop per crop. Yeah, Kushuru.
Yeah. So dwelling a little bit more on the point 6, where you talk about digital and integrated land and water management system. Now, this is not just a kind of an hypothetical statement that is made up. And to be fair, we did this experimentation. We are working on a proof of concept for digital lending, agri lending. So we did this kind of an experiment where we stood on a piece of land and we just sent a location pointer to one of the systems, one of the API calls on the government database, and we were surprised to see the quality of the data that API returned. And it was really very very useful data that could leverage a lot of decision making and can support this kind of decision making. So when we talk about government, our hypothesis or our thought process is that government is slow, government cannot give data on in time. But let me surprise you by saying that a lot of these things that are mentioned here as recommendations have already seen the light of the day. They are already functional and they can be leveraged by a lot of IT companies to do a lot of quality work. And let me again, we did another POC. There are a lot of kind of low powered network or low powered network areas that are available for information interchange. Like at one point of time, there are now, let me again surprise you by saying that global players are looking at India for implementing their digital technology for Indian farmers, because Indian farmers remain one of the largest chunk of untapped sources of to our the marketplace. So we can talk about specifics at another point of time, but we for sure are aware of large international global companies that have set up their global networks for only leveraging for agriculture. Sorry, Rahul, that I interrupted. Go ahead.
No, I think that was the right place to plug in. Thank you, Kushuru, for that. And so it all ties into the scale that we are going to talk soon about. Uh, Again, coming to another very key, so to round all things up, digitalized farm health management for reduction of farmers' losses. Now there is a top line to a business and a bottom line to a business, and the benefit of Industry 4.0 bringing it to agriculture is to run it like a business. Uh, from the perspective of the bottom line, they have to reduce the losses that the farmers face. Because as we know, we've talked about, this is election season, we've talked a lot about, we've heard a lot about how the farmer can be equipped. And a farmer starts his work with every crop with a lot of uncertainty. With uncertainty brings risk. The risk, and God forbid, there are a lot of factors. In normal business, there are a lot of factors that you can control. The largest impact for a crop, for a farmer, comes from factors that he or she cannot control, which is the weather, which is the availability of water, which is the availability of fertilizer, the right kind of fertilizer at the time. So farm health management, a digitalized farm health management reduces the turnaround time of taking action when things go slightly deviate from the expectations that the farmer had at the start of sowing the crop. So to talk about the size of the ecosystem, we all say that everything in India is big data. Even if I have to buy or plan for a toothbrush in India, it is big data. So the size of the system in India is that there are 14.5 crore operational farm holders in India. These are farm holders only. More than, or rather, around about 10% of India's population. This is a huge number, and every farm holder would have at least 5 or 6 people directly or indirectly attached with them, attached to the farm. We are looking at a majority of India's population, the largest population in the world for a country, dealing with farm, working with farms, and dependent on farm produce. There are 2.5 lakh gram panchayats in India. One startup in each gram panchayat would amount to 2.5 agri-tech startups, and they can bring transformational changes to the farm output, the farm economy of that gram panchayat. And now we are talking about multiplying the income of farmers. So we are building upon the doubling farmers income initiative, which was the initiative of the government of India, and doing wherever farmers income have doubled, these techniques, these technologies are now going many-fold. They are going 3x, 4x. Just today, I was reading a tweet for somebody who has, through crop cycling of the right vegetables, started earning in a month what he was earning in 1 year. So this is the kind of transformation that we can bring to all of the farmers in India. So some of the building blocks, now we'll talk about the building blocks of Industry 4.0, Agriculture 4.0, how these two tie together. And as we said,
Spend some more time
yes, sir.
on the last point of the previous slide.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So anything that you would like to add on this?
No, that
Yeah. So I'll talk a little bit more.
Explain
I'll explain a bit more about it. So when we talk about, and again going back to the 7 mission mode programs, each and everything, what we spoke about, even at the last point, when we spoke about the farmers' ability to reduce losses. So the moment a farm, a moment a business comes on the digital highway, the digital super highway, the availability of the world is unleashed for them. They get access to the right amount of information, to the right amount of guidance, to the right amount of tools, techniques that they can do to increase their top line, reduce their losses, and everything that is there is the profit. Yeah, Kushuru.
So again, dwelling up on the kind of experience that we had of working with the Ministry of Rural Development, we did a very scientific approach was taken by the ministry to create a matrix for demand supply gap. Now, if everyone were to do everything at every place, then there would be a very deep imbalance of certain crops vis-a-vis other crops, because then everyone would want to really grow the cash crop at the sacrifice of the other crops. But that would then entail reducing the margins for the cash crop. So what the government of India did and what we did in collaboration, this was a system that we have built, is create a real, a very scientific approach to a demand supply gap algorithm that really lists out what should be done at what place. What is the necessity of doing a particular business or a particular crop in a particular place, and that gives you a real scientific idea that if you were to grow a particular crop in a particular area, your chances of getting money back is far higher vis-a-vis if you do something very different, right? And this, we are talking about people who wanted to generate business with the lowest of the low income, like say a grant of say 50,000 rupees or a lakh of rupees, something of that sort. And that we saw that there is a big revolution about it, from the perspective of people prospering also using this kind of data that is now very easily can be made available through a lot of government schemes. And for people who are not aware of this, there is another thing where government literally encourages women entrepreneurs, women farmers to get a larger benefit also. So these are things that really, it is like, I am repeating this statement that these are not things that are literally on paper or maybe government slogans. These are things that have now been done and operationalized by various government entities to create an actionable plan. Like when I say SVP, Startup Village Enterprise Program, now this had a backing of government with an X amount of budget, and there was a track as to how this budget was getting utilized. So these are a few things that can really benefit India. And as Rahul mentioned, 14.5 lakh operational farm holders. If you again multiply it by a number of say 2 or 3, then this becomes a huge number. And you cannot operationalize this with traditional farming or manual farming processes. There is a lot of work being done in various parts of the world, various parts of India, to create better crops, better utilization of seeds, better utilization of pesticides. So if this knowledge is shared across India, across the globe, then that there is surely going to be benefit. Like weather patterns, how if you know that this is going to be a bad summer, or if you know that this is going to be a bad monsoon, it will really help you change the decisions that you take about what crop to grow and where and how to grow, right? So as Professor Moni really pushed us into saying, explain this a little bit further, this really makes sense for us to understand how this is done. And it is not just a statement. There are a lot of ways, like in Australia, if you see, or there are a lot of countries, the whole farms are being executed through a dashboard. One dashboard that literally talks about what is the crop that is growing, what is the water requirement, what is the fertilizer requirement, what will be the weather of tomorrow, and what all data I can leverage to make things better. If it is going to rain in the next 15 days, I might as well not give running water to the crop. If it is not going to rain in the next 15 days, it might make sense for me to release water. So optimal use of resources is going to be very important in creating and India is a farm economy. Whatever anybody says, it has got 1,000 startups, 5,000 startups, but at the end of the day, we have to accept that we are an agrarian economy, and we have to focus on agriculture for making the country better, or making the country Atmanirbhar. If I were to import less sugar or less wheat or less rice, it is really going to impact the country's bottom line or the country's budget. Rahul.
Yeah, and to add, just recently, rather this week, uh, thanks to Professor Moni for inviting me for the discussion again. Uh, we were discussing on a round table, and a very senior organic farmer made a very pertinent distinction when we spoke about farmers' income and how what we were discussing would bring in the benefits. He said, let's focus on farmers' profit. It's not just revenue. Go down one level deeper and focus on the profit. So you are trying to solve on the both ends of the equation, not on one end, not one person on the one end and the other person on the other end. Bring them together and focus on both ends of the equation, right? So that's what we have discussed, and that is where the unleashing part of it. So we know, and we'll talk about it very soon, about the digital agriculture stack, the technologies which are available, the technologies which are operational. We've heard of Drone Didi in over the last month. We have Lakpati Didi. We have a lot of impetus by the government. It's happening. It's there on the ground. How do we unleash it now? So to bring that together on a common platform is what we are going to talk about in this presentation. So again, coming to agriculture 4.0. So we understand Kushuru just spoke about what kind of tech we have available on the ground. So whether it is low radiation networked IoT devices, autonomous IoT devices, whether it is drones, both for monitoring as well as for crop spraying. We have satellites. We have, over the last about 2 decades, a constellation of Indian indigenous satellites which are looking at the country, which are looking down on the country's landmass, bringing in very specific tailored images that can help us both from a weather perspective as well as from the crop, the land, how the land is transforming, how the water availability in certain areas of the country, changing the availability of soil which is more conducive to a particular kind of crop. All this information is there, it's networked, it is available in the palm of every farmer. That is the potential. We have just recently, I think, in one of our very recent webinar series, Professor Moni had a talk on precision farming. Very precise understanding of what is the crop, or what is the land, what kind of water availability, what is the fertilizer availability, what is the weather that is going to be in the crop cycle that is being planned, and precisely sow the seed at the right time, irrigate it properly, provide the right fertilizer, harvest it on time, and make it available for shipping to the consumer. The whole farm to table value chain, precisely monitored, managed, and implemented to bring the maximum benefit to the farmer. And from a consumer's perspective as well, getting the right produce to the cities, to the world, because India is in the end the largest farm potential for a very rapidly growing world population. I will delve a bit more on the industry 4 supply chain, and as we talk about, yeah, Kushuru.
So clarifying a certain terminology that Rahul has used, I would really like that to happen. So he has used a terminology called WSN, and WSN is a wireless sensing network. And this is, maybe you can say, your smallest building block, but it is so important that if you notice, he has used it at 2 places. One is as a underground WSN, wireless sensing network, and as a underwater WSN, because these are 2 different types of sensing that has happened. So one talks about your ground, your soil, all that, and sensing that, and then there is a water sensing. So there are multiple types of wireless sensors available, and if you integrate them with low powered network, then that is going to be a game changer in a lot of areas. Because why is a low power wide area network so important? Why? Because in India we still face the problem of paucity of electricity, but paucity of electricity should not hinder the whole process or the whole paradigm, the new paradigm that we are talking about. So there are this kind of research, a lot of research and a lot of innovation has already happened in this area. That is where I said that the global players are paying a huge attention to this kind of market and the whole agriculture industry per se for India, because the agriculture industry in say USA or Europe or Australia has already matured with the utilization of these things, but they now want to replicate all these things again in a geography, in a disparate geography of India, where there are different seasons, there are different agricultural crops that are being grown. So all that, this whole model is being, it can be replicated here. And as Rahul said, this the whole satellite architecture that is needed for supporting this kind of equipments, the low powered equipments. Now the low powered equipments with when there is less power can only function when there is a lot of extraterrestrial support that is available in terms of satellite. So as he rightly mentioned, there are different types of satellite that can be utilized. You have a remote sensing satellite which senses what is happening, the weather conditions, the land topography, all those things happening with the remote sensing satellite, along with the communication satellite and the navigation satellite. So this whole cluster of different types of satellites working and talking together works as an important backbone to what all we are talking, and that can be leveraged very easily. That is what I'm saying, repeatedly saying, that this is not a now something that is can only be talked in approach papers or researches. This can now be leveraged on the ground, and people can use it for benefiting of the farmers. Rahul.
Yeah, and one more piece in this is something called a drone swarm. Drone swarm. So we all see the good, nice images of drone swarms used for demonstrating very nice artwork in celebrations. The same kind of drone swarm can be used autonomously for, as I said, monitoring as well as crop spraying. And but we should always remember that whenever we are talking about drone swarms, when we are talking about sensors, we have to always look at our agriculture 4.0 instrumentation with the size that we were talking about, 14.5 crore farm holders, 2.5 lakh gram panchayat. So everything, if there is a drone swarm in a small village of about 20 drones which are doing various activities, we have to look at their interoperability. We have to look at multiplying those 20 with 2.5 lakhs, which makes 50 lakhs or 5 million drones, which are required to cover the whole of India and to bring it to this revolutionary way of farming, which is agriculture 4.0. Talking more about the industry 4.0 supply chain, and these technologies have been in the industry, have been used by our Flipkarts, Amazon, all businesses, Mama Earth, everybody for some time now, where we have a producer, we have warehousing, we have supply chain, we have processing, pre-processing, processing, post-processing. We have service providers which then take it out to the world, and logistics to take it from farm, from the point of production to the point of consumption. We now replace the producer with the farmer, and everything else should fall in place similar to how it does for a global organization. The farmer produces a crop output. They should be given the understanding, the guidance of how much of the farm produce to send out as the farm produce as such, how much and where, what products can they bring with processing. So for example, we have just outside Ahmedabad, we have a very large factory of McCain who make, since near Ahmedabad it's potato country. So McCain has their own manufacturing facility which has enabled the farmers to make a decision of their farm output, the type of potatoes which will go into making French fries, the type of potatoes which will go into making chips, and the type of potatoes which will go out into the market, whether it is the global market or the local market, as potatoes being sold in the vegetable farm, in the vegetable mandi. That kind of differentiation of the farm, grading of the farm output and utilizing it for the right purpose, that availability with this platform should be made to the farmer. Logistics, again, when we are looking at farm output for a gram panchayat, aggregation would make it a large, heavy load, which will require professional and new age logistics to take to the market, to the mandi at the right time. The government is making a lot of investment in robust cold chains, but at the same time, farm produce is a perishable product. It has to go to the table in a very fixed amount of time for it to be realized by the consumer properly. And everything which is there in the bottom, real-time monitoring, organized inventory, again, as I said, how much to produce as processed output, how much to produce as grown unprocessed output, has to go through decision making. We've spoken about Internet of Things, IoT devices, which are sensors, which are drones, which are monitoring tools, which are grading tools. When we touch upon animal husbandry, if there is milk produce from the farm with the animal which is associated with the farm, what is the quality of milk that is being produced? Should it go to Amul for aggregation or not? So those kind of things help the farmer, inform the farmer to take the right decisions. In the end, it's the farmer who's going to take the final decision because he is the one who's connected to the ground, connected to the sun. Automation in all these procedures. So when we are talking about a value chain of a crop, value chain of every product, it's a flow chart. It flows from one step to another. That step should be taken precisely. I know that precision in terms of farming could be, say, a day or a few hours. But in the larger scheme of things, when we look at a cycle of a crop, it's minuscule. A day before a rain strikes is fundamentally a make or break situation for the farmer. We have paddy, which is stocked, but it has to be stocked at the right secure location just before the rain. Otherwise, the whole effort of a few months will not get realized the way the farmer wants. So it has to be precise. It cannot happen manually. It has to be automated. Labor around the farm. We are talking about 2.5 lakh startups in Gram Panchayat. We are talking about 50 to 70 crore people who are associated directly with the farm. They are employed by the farm, with the farm. They have to be skilled because their contextual knowledge of how the farm operates is already there with them. So they are already graduate level when it comes to how the farm has to do, probably postgraduate level in many cases, how the farm should operate. We equip them, we skill them, and they become Iron Men of farming. So moving on, there have been multiple studies of how these, what kind of applications would be required for agriculture 4.0. We spoke about precision agriculture. We spoke about crop quality, readiness identification, as I said, grading, using drones to capture images, even satellites. We've seen the proof of concept that Kushuru was talking about earlier in terms of digital agri lending. We've seen the kind of images that satellites can capture of farms and be able to discern one farm compared to the adjacent farm, which one is ready, which farm has the crop ready for harvest, and which will take probably 3 more days to reach optimum cycle in terms of harvesting. Pest prediction and prevention, again predictive in its nature. Livestock management, how to utilize livestock, the livestock produce, both for the farming community as well as a commercial output of the livestock. Soil health monitoring, we've talked a lot about soil health monitoring through sensors, through labs, which are now starting to propagate all over the country. Crop yield estimation, again funneling all this information into estimating what kind of yield this time the crop might get, again feeds into what Kushuru mentioned about the viability of a lending cycle for that particular crop. Optimized resource utilization and sustainable farming. Intelligent produce grading and sorting, what I just spoke about in terms of McCain. What is the optimum size of a potato from the plant or from the crop for French fries versus sending it out to the market in the mandi. The same applies for things like cashews. So in cashews, we have grades which are W320, W240, W480. Those are standardized grades, and there are systems and systems as well as tools, machines which are available to grade these automatically, not leave it to an assessor. Personalized sowing and harvest advisories, again it opens up to a full knowledge management system of what to do when during the cycle of the crop. Price forecasting for agricultural commodities in a country like ours, where a lot of government support is critical to farm output. Price forecasting is very key. We still see instances, isolated instances, where sometimes a crop goes for bumper harvest, a lot of revenue, and the same crop at a few months down the line does not get the value that the farmer has put in to raising it. That these kind of high crests and low troughs need to be brought closer for a more predictable and more managed price forecast, price fluctuation, because it impacts the consumer as well. It impacts us all together. So PwC and FICCI, they did a study, and they said, okay, we can redefine architectural through artificial intelligence. We can predict the unpredictable. There are a lot of aspects to this which are unpredictable, right? Whether we don't control the weather. When we don't control the weather, we don't control a lot of things which get impacted by the weather. Availability of water, the availability of sunlight, the availability, for a standing crop, what is the direction, what is the force of the wind that might impact it. Those things are not in our control. But if we can forecast, we can take actions to reduce the impact on the crop. So they found out that there are certain challenges, some enablers which we have in place, and there are certain impediments. Challenges, again, there are challenges with any business, with farms slightly more so, because Industry 4.0 has not percolated fully yet. So productivity, quality of the crop, traceability of where the crop has come from, how well the soil was taken care of, how well the animal which was raising the crop taken care of, was the fertilizer, was irrigation done at the right time for the crop or not. That will determine the output, the value that the crop will bring to the farmer as well as to the consumer, to the buyer. And more importantly, as we are seeing around us, the change which the climate is going through, controlling carbon emissions while we enhance the profitability. We can bring a lot of machines, a lot of tools into the system to increase profitability, increase output. But can we do it while controlling the carbon emissions? They said, okay, so what we can do, we have a lot of enablers. We have Internet of Things. We've spoken about so many sensors and devices. We have machine learning. We can say, okay, these 15 crops with these kind of steps behaved in this manner. Let's do this and bring this back into the system for the other 15 farms which are sowing the same crop. We can use cloud computing to bring this together. We can use statistical computing to bring data and learn from data. We can use deep learning to have models which can be scaled. We can use virtual reality, augmented reality to train the farmer of how they should operate in their farm. But at the same time, we are hampered by certain impediments. So all these enablers are there. We have started putting these in specific areas in what somebody can do, but we still have some impediments. The impediment is that we do not have the sectoral expertise at the unit level. It is limited. When we talk about 2.5 lakh gram panchayats, we do not yet have those 2.5 lakh experts which have the whole value chain, which have the whole industry cycle envisioned from this perspective. We have some gaps in public AI research because we do not have a common platform. Data quality, lack of access to data is something which comes first. So I was mentioning a few minutes ago about this round table, and there were a lot of startups in this round table who were doing who were utilizing the satellite information, who were doing precision farming, and everybody would come up with the same first thought of what are your impediments? Lack or quality of data. Data is disjointed because we have a federal structure. We have grown in the way we have grown so far, but there are things which are disjointed. We need to bring them together. Lack of coordination and cross-border collaboration because of it sort of ties into poor data quality, where data is disjointed. We've seen in our experience as well, data from one state does not conform to the same structure as the data from another state because they both capture data from their perspective. So that is something which so these impediments we need to bridge, because we are not talking just about digital agriculture. We are talking about unleashing the potential. There is a lot of potential energy in whatever we have done so far. How do we make it work and take the next step? So that's where the concept of system of systems comes in. So now we'll delve a bit about what systems of systems are from a farming perspective. So when we talk about, so there is a product, so there is a farm. It works. It's a manual farm. The farmer understands everything that he has to raise a crop and to get output out of it. We give him some information that, okay, we started bringing in many decades ago, we started bringing in weather forecasting. Okay, this is the time when rain is going to happen. You're going to get water. This is the time your irrigation from the canal, you will get water at this time. You have this information available on your phone or on the radio, on various communication methods, through various communication methods. We made him smart. We made him connected with smartphones, with SMSs, with availability of other farmers, what they are doing, making some networks. We then made a value chain. We made an ecosystem. Okay, there is a mandi. You can go to that mandi. We'll aggregate. We have availability of hardware. We have availability of tillers. You can empanel people for your time when you need harvesting. You can go to that particular either you go to this center or you go to this particular website or you use this application and you ask for more people to help you harvest this crop. And we provided, there are agencies which provide farm equipment for rent. We see a lot of people who travel across states during certain specific harvest time, just bringing in harvesters and the skill of operating those harvesters, because those are needed only for those few days. Then that was a product system only. Then we made a system of systems. That when everything comes together, it makes a system of systems. There is weather data, there is soil health, there is harvester availability, there is availability of people, there is availability of fertilizer. The farmer knows this is where I go for that particular need. That need will be served. I will get what I want. Everything, the world is now available to me in my palm. That is a system of systems. Yeah, Kushuru.
So in a system of systems, we would also want to integrate the peripheral other systems which are necessary for the smooth execution of these kind of fundamental systems. And when I talk about peripheral systems, I talk about availability of finance, which is the most important thing to drive any ecosystem. Like you cannot buy a fertilizer unless you have funds available. So, and funds should be available in a manner that is literally conducive to a farmer or to a local economy. You can't have a funding available in a way that is based on a city based or a urban based philosophy. So you, when we talked about, we built the system about in the SVP, we talked about how when we give a loan, how will the loan come back. That is also very important for us to understand, for any institution to understand, that if I am going to lend to a farmer, now the farmer will not have surplus cash right through the year. So you cannot have a statutory EMI system that can be used to get the money back from him. It's not as if that the farmer does not want to pay. The farmer wants to pay. But what about the availability of funds that is there? So those kind of small modifications to the existing methodology will also need to be entailed. The banks need to be able to be cognizant about this kind of a different kind of uh, economy that exists in villages, or the cash-based economy, right? A lot of people might not have that much of funds available in his bank. So will the banks accept cash as a way of payment, repayment of loans and all that? So there has to be, when we talk about system of systems, it is about a large paradigm, a large framework that has to coexist with each other. Now we do everything, but the money is not available. What is the use of having infrastructure available? Who will have, the money is not there to get the infrastructure, to get a tractor, to rent a tractor, or the money is not available to get electricity to power your pumps. So all these things, when Rahul talks about system of systems, he talks about integration of various systems working to address the agriculture problem of India, and where we use digital or technology to understand how the whole local economy of our local geography works, and to ensure that all of these systems work in a very very conducive, very very coexisting way. Okay. Rahul.
Yeah, thanks, Kushuru. So let me delve a bit into why we call it a system of systems. So every ecosystem operates like a grid,
Yeah,
a three-dimensional grid.
Mr. Mr. Rahul,
Yeah, yes, sir.
you have to hurry up. We have a time
Yes, sir.
constraint.
I'll make it quick. But I will still want to delve into system of systems as to how it works in an ecosystem. I can do it on the next slide. So let me use this. So we have the physical layer. We have the farm. We have the livestock. We have the tools. We have everything. We have devices. But these are, so there are certain aspects which are vertical and certain aspects which are horizontal. Every system, whether it is a remote sensing system, whether it is a communication system, whether it is a soil measuring device, whether it is a, it has expertise of itself, which makes it a unit system in itself. When we bring all this together, is what is called system of systems. So we had these farms, we equipped them with sensors, we equipped them with labs to test the soil. We brought in BharatNet, we bought in 4G, now we are going to get 5G, availability to networked devices, as well as availability to labs, availability to government initiatives, all that knowledge was there. We had so many systems on the cloud. We have, say, farm management systems are there on the cloud. We have all our logistics players which can be accessed through the cloud. Everything is available. What we spoke about from the NASCON EY study or from the FICCI study, these digital systems or software, how to do soil health management, what device to give, what data to collect, which lab to send it to, what is the recorded health number of the soil. So all these systems we had together. We still have them, but everybody is trying to solve the full vertical stack because they do not have access to diverse data, which we said as one of the largest impediments that we have. How will what we are proposing solve it? We will bring something in the middle, a layer which does the standardization, which makes the availability of data in Telangana, the data from Haryana. In a tribal village in Kerala, they should be able to access data from Chhattisgarh of how similar activities are done, what is similar, what is not similar, how my soil, which is different from the soil in Chhattisgarh, different, and what do I need to do if I were to do a cash crop. That is something that we will bridge. And we will bring the same farm the access to all these expert services. How will we add value? What Kushuru was talking about. In terms of machine learning and artificial intelligence, it will be able to predict when pests might be there to harm the crop, take preventive action before that. What is the forecast of the price? What is the value that you are going to generate out of this crop? We can forecast it better. We can estimate the yield of this particular crop. So yield will have a very big factor equivalence with revenue. Revenue is what the farmer will earn. Okay, based on this kind of revenue that we forecast, this is the kind of credit that you can get today. Because farming is a credit intensive business. Same concept. Availability to government initiatives. We have the soil health card. Bring that data into the system. We have e-Urvarak, availability to fertilizers. We have PM Kisan. We have what we spoke about, SPEP, the Rural Entrepreneurship Program. We have crop residue, how can the farmer or the son of the farmer become an entrepreneur and process the crop residue in a manner that he can generate revenue out of that too. We have for our livestock, we have NDDB's dairy services. For the produce to be sold, we have National Agricultural Market, ENAM. Again, also puts in data into price forecast. We have EGMARkNet for quality management. We have Matsya Seva for fisheries because they have to grow fish. We have ONDC to buy direct from the farm itself. I myself order a lot from ONDC for certain things which are available, which are native to a particular area. A consumer cannot go to Amazon and buy something which is native in Odisha, a produce which is native to Odisha. ONDC is able to do that today. We have to bring in that availability. All that part of an agri stack. We are doing crop as part of the agri stack. We are doing UPI like availability of services. This is similar. Again, as value adds, availability of digital agri loans. They don't have to go to the bank to get the loan. If all this data is available, they can apply for a loan, get the loan in parts as lump sum, the way the farmer wants. We build in early warning systems, bring them the knowledge to make sure that the forecasting that we have done in terms of the yield, the output is very, very close to that or probably even more. So how do we do it? As I said, it's a vertical stack. From the stack, we have a physical layer of the farm. We have sensors on it. We have human interaction at the ground level. There are embedded devices which provide information. So there could be embedded devices in the farm, but they would be connecting with the satellite. In the middle, we have a service layer. So the middle bridge that I was talking about in terms of cloud applications, this whole blockchain-based network system is what brings the data from the ground to a whole host of services which are expert services which have expertise in a particular area of the crop's value chain. Whether it is the grading of coffee, the availability of the farm's produce and the dashboard of the farm's produce with the coffee board, that is at the application layer. But we, through the blockchain, are able to bring that standardized data set with its nuances at Gram Panchayat level, at the farm level, to the application layer. So how does that work? Store the data. There is a sensor network. There is some data available with the farmer. There are certain irrigation systems. There are certain systems like irrigation system. What is the availability of fertilizer? Show it to the farmer in terms of the farmer dashboard to a mobile app. Again, what we offer in our system itself, since we are standardizing the data. But bringing the information from other sources, aggregating that data and pumping that data back into decisioning systems. This cycle is what we enable with the blockchain that we are talking about, this large middle layer, which is going to bridge this gap between data and services. So that's the platform. And let's take a very simple use case. We'll talk about two aspects. One is the sales use case, revenue use case, and the other is the operations use case.
Rahul.
Yes, sir.
Rahul,
Yes, sir.
These two slides, can you you talked about the system of system and technology
Rahul
layer,
ended.
and the previous one,
Yeah.
you can put it together and explain for about a minute, and that is very
Yeah, I
important.
will quickly explain this. So let me go back to this. So when I spoke about this
No,
middle edge layer,
even before that, because these three slides are very important. You see, yeah,
yeah. So this edge layer that I spoke about, this is the meat of the whole system, of the whole platform. It sort of, if we talk about, I am standing on the ground and there is a cloud of few thousand feet above me. This edge layer is whatever is there in those 1,000 feet. A very complex yet referenceable, readable set of services and data sets, whether it is the data of the farmer, the Kisan card, the Kisan uh, financial information, whether it is the livestock, what is the kind of animal, uh, the type of feed that the animal needs, the type of feed the animal has been given, whether it is the farm, what is the crop, what was the state of the crop at the start, today, what is in the crop cycle, what day I am at, what are the activities that the farmer should be performing at the same time at this time, have they been performed or not. Those are certain nodes which get added into this blockchain. Everything the farmer does is an event, is an action which gets logged in the middle edge to edge layer of systems. If once the
yeah,
farm, once the
yeah.
sorry,
You can go ahead. You can go ahead.
yeah, yeah. So when the farmer comes up with the produce, how will the farmer sell the produce? We've done all this. In the middle, we've done all this. The supply chain, my my produce is now out, available, packaged, ready to ship. There is a sales contract. All this information is available on the blockchain. Somebody can go query, I want coffee, 100 kilos, I want to source straight from the farmer. The blockchain tells exactly how, according to the standards which have been put in place, has this batch of coffee conformed to what somebody in Europe would need. If it has, the orderer will send a request. The farmer will receive it. The farmer will enter into a contract. The batch is earmarked for selling to that particular orderer. Logistics service already gets to know about it. The amount has already been agreed upon. The logistics person can go to the farm, identify the batch, verify the batch, pick the batch, and send it to the orderer. That's from a sales use case. From an operational use case, again, so we have whatever the farmer did, each and every step gets logged on the blockchain. Today, we can learn from it that if you do these 5-6 steps in this particular sequence at this time of the crop cycle, your probability of having a good output is enhanced. We bring it into the knowledge base as well. So this is pretty much it. This is how the data flows. This is how we can unleash that power. Because right now we have these impediments, and this middle layer, this stack, can plug in various systems with itself, which are digital, which cater to specific areas of the crop value chain, and they unleash the power for the farmer and of the farmer, so to say. With that, I'll talk a little bit more about our experience and our product offering. So Kushuru spoke about the NRLM initiative of SPEP, where the village entrepreneurship is encouraged. Startups are made at the village level, not in large cities or in tier 2 towns, but from the village. How the village entrepreneur will reach out to a global marketplace is through the system that we are proposing in this presentation. This what we have built at TaashaTech Infosolutions. Promotes enterprises in rural areas. It is being used in 17,000 villages across 12 states. And as we say, India is multifold. So we are talking about 17,000 villages in 12 states only. We scale it by 2.5, it suddenly becomes 50,000, close to 50,000 already, right? And with our startup Metis, which is into digital decisioning systems, we can converge data. So, as I was talking about data divergent data, seemingly divergent data about farm, about livestock, about fisheries, they have specific factors. They have a different data structure which has attributes pertinent to that particular entity. Through our digital decisioning system, we can have them converge mixed with the financial capabilities of the farmer. Again, helps a lender take the right decision. If the farmer is taking the right steps to maintain their farm, they have expertise in delivering a particular crop, they are maintaining their soil health better, their livestock is well taken care of. Okay, the probability that this farmer will be able to generate the kind of revenue and pay me back is higher. I can forward him this kind of credit at the start of his crop cycle. Again, enabling the customer, enabling the farmer with finance, rather than having to write off a loan 6 months down the line, is the most prudent thing to do in India. The energy that the farmer would get would actually be manifold more than he would otherwise get trying to pay off a debt. Kushuru, you want to talk a bit about this?
No, Rahul, fine. You have covered up everything. So, yeah, we'll, based on the time available, we'll take a few questions if Professor Moni allows. Otherwise, reach out to us through Professor Moni, and we'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have. Professor Moni, over to you, sir.
Yeah. I think you can come back to the other slide on AgriStack, which you put it. This and AgriStack is very important. Yeah, this is, it is, and the system of systems, which you visualized it based on, and it has to match with the recommendation of the Doubling Farmers Income Committee report.
No.
And it is very important that how a system at the ground, the farming systems, and how it has to get onto the digital agriculture systems, and then how it has to benefit both of the all the members of the value chain. I think it is a very big area, but it is a potential area, and with the digital systems we have to bring it out. Now, what all we do is tip of the iceberg. This is what it is happening as of now, and taking the Doubling Farmers Income Committee report as a background, the infrastructure, the recommendations, how the 7 measurement programs can bring in a ecosystem architecture at the ground level, at the farm level, at the farmer level, at the village level. Thank you very much. And it is beginning of our journey. And let me invite Mr. Vinod, who is a farmer, is an entrepreneur, is an IT specialist, and he is part of the smart tribal farming. Mr. Manish, can you put Mr. Vinod to the front? Mr. Manish? Yes. Mr. Vinod, welcome to the discussion, and you are part of our journey today. Not like other our weekly programs, we thought that let us bring our interest area to the digital professionals and how they look at it. And you are part of the smart tribal farming project, and you are also going to operationalize it along with other NGO in the state of Kerala, and you are also a man who does coffee plantation, and also an IT company which you run. Now, how do you look at it? The today's presentation, how it is going to facilitate, and how we have to progress in this line of action, Mr. Vinod Kumar.
Thank you, Professor Moni. Can you give me 1 second to fix my light? I also have.
Yeah.
I think I put the wrong light, so give me just a sec. I hope it's a little better now. Thank you.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I also had a difficulty in putting it, and then finally I found that one button in my laptop, it is in the logo showing lowest one. So now I'm also visible.
Okay.
Carry on. Yes.
So to take it from there, there's a lot of visibility which has come in today's webinar. Of course, the introduction by Professor Moni, as usual, is a real, a knowledge base for all of us to review what is there today as part of a knowledge base over the years. And that's a quick one. And each topic is available on net to go back and look into. So by the time you finished just saying, and then you started on this particular topic, you already had a refresher in the first 5-10 minutes. Thank you, Professor Moni. And yes, Professor, he was this senior to me at IIT, and today he's my mentor. He's a professor to me. So we go a very long way. I have about, I think, 3 or 4 decades in the industry. Of course, in various areas. Most of it, the common thread has been technology. My master's and everything has been technology. But I wouldn't say it is only software, because that was a thing in the earlier days. But today it's a very integrated kind of a thing which we look at today when you say technology. But that's underlying thread which is there in whatever we do, like it or not, it is there, and we adapt to it very more easily as time goes by. And Gen Z, if you see, they're so adept at it. So even when you talk about farming and all that, the farmer is the king or queen, and they have the knowledge. And now when you put this technology strength behind them, they really go places and they teach us things. So data has been one thing. So now today, Dr. Kushuru and Rahul really went point to point. It was a very educative, and it's a very nicely touched upon various things. And I've been working with Professor Moni on this smart tribal farming in the last one and a half years, 2 years. We've been building it up. It's been very interesting sessions we had almost every week. So a lot of learnings there, and what you put together is a very approach which really is necessary. And I think you guys are doing a lot of great things. The scale you've done, and the kind of large programs you've done, and this is mega, because agriculture is mega always, and 70% of the country is on that, and globally it's huge. So when you say big data, this is not just big data. This is like, it's there. It's amazing. The people used to give examples of how aircraft, the amount of data it spits out is huge, but that's nothing compared to what is there in the agriculture field. The kind of variations, the variabilities, the factors, it's huge. So I think today we touched upon all that, and Rahul talked about unleashing all that. That's definitely there. And Dr. Kushuru, he mentioned about a couple of important use cases is really there, the financing part and all that, and that is very important. He talked about digital platform. Yes, that's there. But then going ahead, now how do you put all this together? I mean, it's really, it's like, beyond normal human. But then today tools are there to an extent that a lot of things are possible, a lot of things automized, and then you can go and get the results you want. But again, getting the result you want in one space is not what is the ultimate goal, especially in projects like these, and where you're talking about the country and how you can really double the farmer's income or more. And Ashok Dalwai's report has been a Bible where Professor Moni was instrumental in writing that 2 chapters. And those 2 chapters, even though it's little dated, it's like really a Bible which you can start with, and everything's connected. But the new papers which have been published gives you an update on each of those points. So now the key thing is operationalize. That operationalize is what I think you really touched upon today. How do you operationalize such a vast thing? Because data is definitely structuring is a good thing to do, but how do you structure it? And there is so much of disparate data, is very difficult. So how do you handle that? So I think there also Rahul talked about how you're tagging the digital data which is there and putting it together. Good use cases. That's the way you can handle that and bring it together. So whether it's a cashew when you talked about, or coffee, it's very practical to do that, because suddenly you can't structure the whole thing. So you have a minimum common base, and based on that you start doing. And you're talking about 400 different crops, and there'll be more. You consider the varieties in that is much more. So we're talking about huge numbers here. So there has to be a structured way. And this system of systems is really, as far as today's knowledge goes, that's the way to structure things and make things organized in the entropy which is out there. So if you look at it, we can set up frameworks, guidelines, principles, everything. But when you look at the real end user or the people on the field, the people who are really doing it, there are so many groups. So you have to really get to that point and make sure they're adhering to these structures, and they also have the independence to do it right way, because they're, like I said, they're the ones who can do it, and we can enable them and empower them, like the topic here, unleash and empower. These are 2 very key words. So the design system of SOS, system of systems, has architecture component, there's the engineering component to it, and whatever the industry that's applicable. So when it comes to engineering it, you make the framework, is the AF, and then you go to the E part and make sure the framework and fine tune it with the engineering concepts in this area of application. Then you find there's a structure there. Now you can leave the guidelines which is coming up, and when that is mandated, and like you bring it across, you talked about how do you do from so many states, scale it up. Scalability is really important to reach and touch the needs of every one of these. And definitely, like Dr. Kushuru mentioned, it's all about empowering the ones at I would say bottom of the pyramid or mid of the pyramid, and take them up, get others there. So this becomes very, very important that we use these techniques to engineer it in such a way that it's just going to scale, and then that's on remote control, and you just reduce the amount of engineering or that kind of thing. And then you find agronomics coming in, and we find people who are really good at it coming in. Then it could be a farmer, could be a local person, and then there is no scale. And then also you touched upon how from the precision farming side, the farm side, you move on to the aggregating it and getting on to the market side, and that is huge. And when you talk about revenue profit, without the profit, okay, who's going to fund it? Profit. It's a very complex topic. So approaching it with this SOS approach is definitely a way to make some sense to it, and then keep growing with the technology. And technology is huge. So I enjoy this journey. And of course, we have plantation and all that, and the spices, crops are there. And wherever there is a possibility, I go. So when people ask, which domain are you good at? I said, it's not about being good at. Okay, I love the journey in agriculture. Healthcare has been an area where I have been. Industry is another area. Now, finally, you look at how you apply it for that purpose. And this is an area which definitely has both socio-economic, all kinds of aspects to it. And I think today in India, this is an area where we should definitely put our maximum whatever we can do in our collective manner where it grows. And Professor Moni, thank you so much. And thank you both gentlemen for today's.
Thank you very much. It's very important that you, as a man who had a vast background, both agriculture and IT, that's why I requested you to join, and you were also kind enough to join. But I think today it is a very important day for our journey. Now, if you see for the last, of course, apart from my exercise, Mr. Vinod Kumarji, you can see that how we are trying to understand the grassroots level problem with the tribal community and the NGOs working with the tribal community and other stakeholders. And after understanding, now when we put the our ideas in the form of a brochure, now the new things are getting explored. And today, even though 4 or 5 slides he talked about the 2 hours, but there are many things which are operational. I was also parted to it when I was in service, but we are not able to see. Even still we are at the horizon, and technologies are exploding, and how to bring in a stabilized system at the grassroots level. And there, the grassroots level, it is a system of production at the plant, farm level, animal level, and water body level. And they are static, they are all natural resources and life resources. And how to bring in, that's why that many of the slides which you brought it, from recommendation from various industry bodies and government bodies and so on and so forth, but how to synergize at the farm level, animal level, water body level, and commodity level. And this is where the recommendation of doubling farmers' income is very important, the 7 mission mode programs. And now I'll be very happy, based on today's discussion, I will request even Mr. Vinod Kumar ji, and also have an abstraction of what we have discussed today and what he thinks about it, how to go about it. And if Mr. Vinod ji can send that note. And also I will request Mr. Rahul and Mr. Kushuru, with your vast experience, and you have brought it out today, a very big component of how you have done it under village entrepreneurship program, SVEP. And this, where you can bring it out entrepreneurship for 17,000 villages, you have brought it out. And it is very good to be brought it under our smart tribal farming project, because it's an operational project, that it is very important. So thank you very much. And we have to continue now. We have to have it now, Mr. Vinodji and people like you, to see that in every component of Dalwai Committee report of this digital technology, how to bring in a digital, bring in digital transformation, digitalization and digitization. And each one will become like another webinar, and bringing in a lot of publications and design aspect, engineering aspect. And we'll have it, we'll work out an action plan. Maybe
Sure.
that 2 to 3 months time, we'll be in a position to come out with an operational model.
Yep.
With
And that
which
is where the
we
whole
should be,
benefit lies. The knowledge is of no use.
just 1 minute. And once we have an operational model, then only we'll be in a position to go for coding and system implementation. This
Absolutely.
is very important. And let us have this group enlarged. I leave it to you. And people like Vinodji and people like Kushuru, Mr. Kushuru and Rahul, let us expand this the system development group in a very effectively, so that. And we also study thoroughly Xstack as of now, that it is the way in which it has been being designed. Seems to be a vertical approach. It is not
Yes.
that the horizontal one, where it can help in farm and farmer. That this is one aspect
Right.
one has to look into it. And we are here because as if the 7 mission mode programs gets operationalized at the farm, village level and farm level, many systems will get operationalized.
Absolutely.
It will have a it will have a life and soul and brain.
Yeah.
That is very
Yep.
important. And
Yep.
and it cannot be abstract model. So
Yeah.
thank you very much.
That's very important,
And
sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Mr. Manish, is there any query? Anybody from any query has come? Hello, Mr. Manish. Mr. Manish. Okay, I think not much query. And thank you very much. And let us work out an action plan appropriately as to how to move from now. But it is a very important day. It has been endorsed by none other than Mr. Vinod Kumar. He is both an IT, industrialist and also, farmer. And thank you very much. And
Thank you,
let
sir.
us. I would like to thank all the the participants, both Indian abroad and the startups who will watch this video, today's program, to bring in a lot of startups. And I would like to thank our Honorable Chancellor, His Excellency, the Secretary General Ardo, Honorable Vice Chancellor, faculty members, Mr. Manish Chhabra, who is behind the program today, Mr. Vinod Kumar, Mr. Rahul Lakhanpal, Mr. Kushuru Doctor. Thank you very much for joining today and make our journey,
Thank you very much.
mission oriented. Mission oriented.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so
Thank you very
much.
Thank you so
thank
much.
you. Thank you.
Bye bye. Take
Thank you.
care.
We'll close the webinar today. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.